All right, let's be honest. When you hear the words social studies, you probably think of old dusty textbooks and trying to memorize a bunch of dates, right? Well, you're not the only one. But what if I told you that's not what it's really about anymore? Today, we're going to tear that old idea down and build it back up from scratch. I mean, think back to that old civics textbook. You know the one, full of dry diagrams of government buildings and long, boring lists of your duties as a citizen. Did that make you jump out of your seat excited to learn? Yeah, probably not. And that right there, that feeling, is the exact reason for the massive shift we're about to explore. Okay, first things first, let's clear up something that trips a lot of people up. You've probably heard social science and social studies used like they're the same thing. But are they? Nope, not even close. And figuring out the difference is our first big step. So, check this out. Think of it like this. Social science is the big, brainy parent discipline. It's the high-level, theoretical stuff you'd find at a university. Its whole purpose is to create experts and push the boundaries of knowledge. But social studies, that's all about putting that knowledge to work in the real world, specifically in schools. It takes all that complex research and makes it useful for creating informed citizens, not just academics. Now, this is a super important point, especially for anyone in the world of education. The school syllabus might technically say social science, but the actual mission in the classroom is 100% social studies. The end game is all about building good, responsible citizens. You got to remember that. It's the key to understanding why the curriculum is designed the way it is. All right, so we've got the name straight. Let's go deeper now. What is this subject really made of? What's its DNA? Turns out there are 4 core characteristics that really define what social science is all about. First off, it's a mashup. It's interdisciplinary. You just can't understand a big historical event if you don't also understand the geography of the land, the politics of the time, and the money that was driving everything. Social science is all about weaving those different threads together to get the complete picture of who we are. Second, it's kind of got a split personality. It's scientific, but it's also deeply human. So it uses scientific tools like observing things and analyzing data, just like a biologist would. But here's the twist. Its main subject is, well, us. And let's face it, human beings are anything but predictable. This quote just nails it, doesn't it? The lab is the entire world around us, and the variable is our own messy, unpredictable behavior. Think about it. Gravity works the same way every single time, but an economic rule, that can change in a heartbeat because of how we feel or what we decide to do. We're the wild cards. Third, and this is a big one, social science isn't neutral. It doesn't just describe the world as it is, it has the guts to ask how the world should be. It's built on a foundation of huge ideas like justice, liberty, and equality. It has a point of view. Let me make that super clear. A fact is saying, okay, some people are paid less than others for doing the same job. But the value-based part of social science steps in and asks, yeah, but is that right? Is that fair? It's not afraid to get into those tough, ethical questions. And finally, this subject is always moving. It's dynamic. The world doesn't stand still, so social science can't either. I mean, a textbook written just 15 years ago would be totally useless for understanding how social media has completely turned our political world upside down. It's a living, breathing field of study. So, because the world is always changing, the way we teach about it had to change too. For the longest time, it was totally stuck in the past. But then, in 2005, a new rulebook dropped, the National Curriculum Framework, or NCF. And it didn't just tweak things, it completely revolutionized the entire game. And the difference is like night and day. The old civics class was basically about memorizing rules and being told to be obedient. Total snooze fest. The new approach, which is now called social and political life, is all about digging into real-world stuff. It uses case studies and what's happening in the news right now to figure out why our world works the way it does. So what's the bottom line? The entire goal shifted. It went from just rote learning, memorizing for the test, to critical understanding. It's not enough to know the facts anymore. The new mission is to get students to ask the single most important question there is: why? This new way of thinking totally changed what we even consider to be knowledge in a classroom. It used to be that the textbook was the absolute truth, the only authority. But now it's just one tool among many. A student's own life experiences, their family's history, what's happening in their neighborhood, all of that is now considered a valid, important part of learning. It's a total game changer. So that's the big philosophy, but what does it actually look like when a kid is sitting in a classroom? Let's get really specific and break down the mission for students in the upper primary grades. You can see the goals are so much bigger and more meaningful now. In history, the idea is to get kids to see that there's no single capital H history, but many different pasts that all happened at the same time. In geography, it's about seeing our planet as one interconnected home for all of us. And in political science, it's about understanding government through big, important ideas like democracy and equality. Okay, we've talked about the why and the what. Now, let's get down to the how. This next bit is your ultimate cheat sheet. These are the keywords that will help you instantly spot the modern, NCF-approved way of thinking, especially on an exam. Seriously, this slide is golden. On the left, you've got your green flags. When you see words like critical thinking or multiple perspectives, you know you're on the right track. But on the right, you've got the red flags. Words like rote memorization or single view, if you see those, alarm bells should be going off. Learning to spot the difference is everything. All right, pop quiz time. Let's put this into practice. Take a look at this question and the 4 options. Based on our green flags and red flags, which one just screams correct answer to you? And the answer is C. Of course it is. Why? Because it's all about making connections between the classroom and a child's actual life. That's a huge green flag. All the other options, memorizing, just listing facts, sticking to the textbook, those are classic red flags. See how simple it is once you know what to look for? So there you have it, this incredible fundamental shift away from just memorizing stuff to actually building critical thinkers. But that leaves us with one pretty huge question, doesn't it? If the goal is to create a mindset, not just fill a brain with facts, how on earth do you measure that? How do you test for critical thinking? It's a massive challenge, and it's something for all of us to chew on. Thanks for digging into this with me.